The European Union's top envoy to Turkey has resigned. No official reason for the decision has been released, but Hansjoerg Haber had criticised Turkey's handling of a deal with the EU regarding refugees. He was summoned last month to the Turkish Foreign Ministry over his comments. If all conditions of the deal are met, it would allow Turkish citizens visa-free access to EU countries. Let's speak to our correspondent Natasha Exelby, who is live for us in Ankara. Natasha, what does this resignation mean for relations between Turkey and the EU?
Well, Marlene, I think that you can say that at the very least, things don't look good for the relations between the EU and Turkey. As you mentioned, it is unclear why the ambassador did resign. It could have been personal, it could have been political, and certainly if we look at recent events, it does point to the latter. This resignation plays into a much bigger picture here, which you have briefly touched on, and that is the EU-Turkey deal, which is frankly very, very complex. But if we break it down into two major things, it's what Europe wants from Turkey and what Turkey wants from the EU. And what Europe wants from Turkey is for them to take more immigrants, people and refugees to stem the flow of people coming into Europe. Now, Turkey has already done that, and that started happening when boats were sent from Greece back to Turkey in March. The major thing that Turkey wants from the EU is that visa-free travel. Now, that was supposed to happen this month, and it hasn't happened. And now the EU is saying that that is got a lot to do with the fact that Turkey needs to redefine its anti-terror laws. Now, the president has said time and time again, and the Prime Minister this morning, the Turkish Prime Minister has just come out and said that under no circumstances is Turkey going to revisit its anti-terror laws, because unlike many countries in the EU, Turkey has a war next door in Syria, and they also have a homegrown terror group by the name of the PKK. So depending on who you talk to among political analysts, they will take sides with the EU or Turkey. Some people will say that the EU is being very reasonable and rational. Other people will say that it is in fact Turkey who is being reasonable here. One thing that most people do agree on, though, Marlene, is that the EU-Turkey deal right now pretty much looks dead in the water.
OK, Natasha, good to speak to you. Natasha Exelby there live for us in Ankara.